How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Farming Simulator 19 Survival Series. So, in today's episode, we have got a lot of work ahead of us. So, already took care of the sheep and the chickens. They are doing well, and our crates over here are filling up nicely. So, loving that system. Working beautifully. So, while we are waiting for the crops to grow, and I'm pretty sure nothing has happened yet. Nope. Nothing peeked through the ground yet. I wouldn't really expect it to at this stage. But pretty soon we'll probably have a bit of a wheat issue. Or weed issue. And, yeah, we'll have to take care of that. But today we are going to be doing something a little bit different, which is not really farming related. It is farmyard related. So, a while back, I spoke about the space back here, which is a nice big open space, and it's kind of wasted. And some of you made some suggestions about horses or pigs or cows, possibly, something like that back here, and I thought that is a good idea. And I started playing around with the idea a little bit, and I do want to get pigs at some stage, but I don't really know where to put them. And I'm thinking when we get cows, they're going to be somewhere over there. So for this spot over here, just walked into a tree there. But for this spot over here, today we are going to be doing a lot of logging. So we are going to be cutting down almost all of these trees over here. We're only going to leave about one line of trees back here. So these ones. And this will come out, this will stay, that'll stay. So most of these trees back here are going to come out, and this here is going to become one giant parking area. So we're going to put up, I think, 3 sheds, open sheds. So 1 running along here, and then 2 running along there. And then we will also be taking down this old shed over here. I mean, it's not that old, and we built it a while back, but it's not really that old. But we're going to take that down, and we're going to put another shed up there that's going to match the ones over there. I don't know if we'll have money to replace that shed, and to be honest, I'm not really sure if I want to replace that just yet, because the house is going to move eventually. Still don't know when. That is an expensive process. And yeah, the problem is we don't have enough parking. I mean, things are standing all over the place, and I mean, we need to get some of this under some roofs. And then over here we are going to be opening up an area, and this could possibly be a little bit expensive because we are going to be digging into this hill a little bit, and most likely placing some concrete support on the sides to make all of this work properly and not collapse on us. And all of this is going to be our potato washing and sorting area. So yeah, that is the plan. And that is a lot of work ahead of us. So that is the plan for today. Obviously, the logs and everything we'll sell. There's no way we'll be able to chop all of that into firewood. It'll take forever. So we are just going to sell all of that as logs. And yeah, hopefully we can recoup a bit of that money. We do have enough money to do this. I did work it out, and we should be fine money-wise. But obviously, we are going to get that log income, so that'll help the case a little bit as well. But yeah, that is the plan. So we're going to see how all of that unfolds. Unfortunately, that does mean that a lot of today's episode is going to be time lapses. Even more than usual. Because I don't think you guys want to really sit around watching me cutting trees down all day. But yeah, we're going to go around and make some of the initial cuts and all of that good stuff. And we'll probably take a break every now and again just for me to sort of explain what's going on in between time lapses. But for now, let's jump into it and see what exactly we're going to do. Because I'm a little bit baffled by this myself. I've got an idea now. I just need to try and make it work. Alright, that is a lot of trees cleared out. So all of the stumps are still over there. I just cleaned the branches off and took the stumps out of the ground. So we need to go cut all of that up, load them on trailers and get them out of there. And meanwhile, I took out all of the equipment from here and from this shed as well, because I came to the conclusion that it's not going to cost us a lot more money to replace this as well. And while we're busy with this entire area, we might as well replace this one shed as well. So it's going to cost us about an extra $16,000, I think it is. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But yeah, the house and everything's not moving yet. Eventually it will. But for now, this is going to become a new shed. Very similar size to this, just new. And this is going to become new with a backing in it. And over here, I decided to take out all of the trees, which wasn't really in the plans from the start. But yeah, I did end up taking out all of them. We are going to put some trees back again. And in fact, these trees back here and the trees that we planted around the farmyard look great. The thing that I don't like about them is they're all exactly the same height. So just for the feel of realism, I am going to be getting rid of a couple of them and replacing them with exactly the same trees but just at different heights. So think of it as pruning down those trees. Unfortunately, there's not a really good way for us to do that, and it is going to be an expensive procedure, around $400 a tree. But just to make it look a little bit more realistic, we are going to be taking out some of these trees and then replacing them with the same ones but different sizes. So sort of pre-grown trees. And I know you can buy those in real life. They are just very expensive and no different in the game. So next up on the agenda, I think I do have all of the stumps out. So what I did is I didn't move any of the logs. So I could look at the logs and I know at the end of each log there's a stump that needs to get removed. And oh, back here, when we put in the new shed, we're going to put some new trees in there as well. And we are going to put some pre-grown trees in here as well to sort of shield off the sheep and that general area. I did leave that one because that one doesn't really bother us at all. And these ones are going to stay as is as well because it's a nice little forest back here. But yeah, for now, we are going to bring the trailers around. And yeah, that was a big move to get all of the equipment out. So everything's just sort of all over the place. So we will grab the log trailers and bring them in, probably stick them around the road there. And we will start working through here, cutting trees up in about 5-meter lengths, loading them up on the trailers. And yeah, we're going to do that, obviously, in a time-lapse again, because it is very time-consuming. I'm not going to put all of these trees in the time-lapse, definitely not, because it is a lot of camera movement. We've spoken about this before, and it can make some people feel a little bit ill, sometimes even myself, to be honest. So, yeah, we'll do a little bit of that, and sort of maybe the start and the finish of cutting up and collecting all of the logs. But that is the plan. So yes, don't panic. There is going to be some more trees coming back in here. They were just a bit awkwardly spaced. So I decided to get rid of them. And yes, it's going to cost quite a bit of money to put some trees back. But it will also allow us a bit more freedom on the placement of our sheds. So yeah, that is the plan. I just wanted to fill you guys in on what's happening and what's going to happen. Also, that road back there, because of the trees, it is quite difficult with like the big new John Deere tractor and big implements like the plow to drive down this road comfortably. So the road is not moving, but I am going to be making the road slightly wider back here, just so the bigger equipment can pass through there a little bit easier as well. Also things like the combine. And right down there in that little triangle of the road, we might actually take out one of those trees, because there is one tree there that creates a bit of a problem with the combine and passing through there without taking the header off. So I might actually go back and take that tree down as well. And then lastly, I just wanted to bring up that I did cut down one tree over here, just because it was a little bit in the way when parking trailers here. I don't know how long this is going to be a trailer parking for, but at the moment it is a bit of a pain and it's always overhanging in this area. So we can throw a bit more gravel in here and open it up a bit more, and that should just give us a little bit more room. And I also did find a log back here, so I don't know where that came from. But yeah, free log, free money. Right, so that is the plan, and we're going to get straight back into it. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. It's a lot of work. It's taken me a good few hours to get to this point in real time. I know it hasn't been that long in the video, but yeah, this is a lot of work. So we're going to get straight back into it. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, so that is all of the logs cleared up, and that took a good couple of hours. I'm not gonna lie, that was quite a job. A good thing is, we did make a lot of money. We're sitting on $250,000, which is a lot more than what I expected to make out of those logs. But then again, it is a lot of logs. So yeah, we'll see how far that money goes. We do know that we had enough budget from the start to do all of this, so now we'll probably be left with about $150,000 by the looks of it. But we are doing some extra jobs that we didn't take into account initially, but yeah, I did remember to take the tree out down there. It was actually a tree just before the triangle in the road, so I did take that out. And yeah, maybe there's another log or two hiding somewhere in this grass, but we'll find out soon enough when we start putting some gravel down. But next up is we're going to be selling that shed and selling that shed and then building the two new ones, and then we'll start laying out this area and building those sheds. And yeah, after that it's probably just going to be a bit of cleaning up and trimming down the trees, as we spoke about before, this side and that side. And yeah, I mean, that is really it. So again, we are going to jump back into a time lapse. I do apologize about all the time lapses, but it's just so much easier to do these sort of things on a time lapse. Otherwise, it would be one very, very long video. So yeah, that's the plan. Breaking down some sheds and building some new ones and getting rid of some grass and yeah, I mean, planting some trees and all of that good stuff. So yeah, let's see how this all pans out. Alright, the farmyard is complete, and goodness me, was that a lot of work. And when I say a lot of work, I really mean a lot of work. So I started prepping for this video 11 o'clock this morning. I started recording at 2:15 this afternoon. It is now 25 minutes to 11 at night, and we are finally done. So let's have a look at the result. And I will admit that, well, I got a little bit carried away with replacing some sheds and things, but we had the money because we still have $140,000 left after all of this. So first things first is something a little bit more subtle, is you'll see around the farm I did change around some of the trees, so all of them aren't the exact same height. So I did tell you guys that we are going to do this. I also added some trees in here and there just to make it look a little bit more natural. So that is one of the changes that happened. And as you can see here, it's maybe a little bit thicker than what it was. Over here it's open, sort of normal, same as it was. And over on the left hand side here, we come up to our very first change. So first things first, I opened up this entrance a little bit, just because it was a little bit tiny for the machinery that's running through here right now. So this is change number one, is we've got a brand new shed in here, a lit shed actually. It's got some light, which switch on automatically, I think around 7 o'clock at night. And the diesel tank has gone, and all of the old equipment has gone. At the moment, we only have the plow in here, and the plow is here simply because it doesn't fit anywhere else. Even with the new sheds, still doesn't fit. I mean, it can, but it sort of gets hooked onto the pillars, and it just doesn't really work that well. So we're just going to put it in here. It's a little bit lonely at the moment, but I'm sure we'll find something to put in here in the near future. So that is the first change on the farm, which was an unplanned one. But I think that's looking really good. And I wanted to keep this little courtyard here because I just like it. It sort of gives just a little bit of a different feeling to the farm. It's just this little corner on its own, and I like it. And don't get me wrong, I did like the old wooden shed. It fit in there very, very nicely. But we are moving forward. We are modernizing, and yeah, I think that fits in very well. It sort of keeps the same feeling, but just a modern version. So this is the second change, which I did not plan on doing. And this is obviously replacing the big shed that was over here, the big rusty one. So that was the next change. And yeah, for the moment, we've only got our bales in here. But I'm thinking this will probably become a shed where we will put things like, what are they called? Foliage harvesters, or forage harvesters? Is it forage? Forage harvesters. So, yeah, we'll probably get some of them at some stage, especially when we've got some cows and things. And I'm thinking that'll probably become a shed for them, or even if we start getting into big equipment like this for potato harvesting or beet harvesting, or maybe even cotton or sugar cane or something like that, this will probably become the shed for those type of vehicles. Time will tell. So this has remained the same. We've still got our pressure washer over there and our water tank. Then we removed this shed over here. And the reason being is it makes it a bit easier to put the trailers over there, because I still don't really have a long-term solution for the trailers. I want sort of a drive-through shelter for trailers and eventually trucks, but I don't really know where to put it yet. So we're going to leave them there for now, and this just makes it easier, and we really don't need the storage space anymore. And the other reason is this thing was bound to go anyway at some stage, because right through here where we're running now is going to become a driveway, because we are going to be putting a house somewhere in here. I'm thinking right over here, overlooking the dam there, and with this beautiful rock here. So I'm thinking about putting a house in here, and this is all going to become the driveway, and that shed was in the middle of my driveway. So that would have come down inevitably anyway. So we might as well, while we were at it, get rid of it. So another thing that we are going to do is we're going to be getting rid of this little workshop. So that's the one thing I have not done yet. And in fact, we can go ahead and do that right now. So we need to scroll through a lot of things that is in here and try and find it. There we go. So $10,251. And there we go. Finally opened up that little space. So I'll come back and just clear this up a little bit so it blends in a little bit better. But yeah, that is finally rid of that little thing. That was a pretty horrible location for that workshop. I mean, it made sense when the farm was tiny, but now with big equipment, it's really difficult to get through there. And the next thing to go is going to be these silos. But we don't have the money for that yet, unfortunately. And yes, we did do a huge revamp on the farm today. As you can see, we'll get to that in a second. But it is definitely not the end of it, because this is only the one side of it. The side that way, where the animals are, still needs to be done. We're still going to put up some dedicated shelters and sheds and things over there for the animal equipment. And for bales and grass storage and all of that sort of thing. And all the way up the hill there, we're still going to put up our big area where we'll have all of our grain bins and things like that. So there's still a lot to be done on the farm. This is not by any means all of it. So this is a brand new shed, which we also kind of didn't want to do and then decided to do. And this one was always going to get replaced. This one I was sort of in two minds with, but eventually we did obviously decide to do that. And I'm very glad we did. And that sort of sparked the idea of changing that one as well, because they weren't really that expensive. So now we've got a great big shed over here. And we can still put the combine in there with some pickup trucks and all of that good stuff. There's a lot of room in there. It is definitely a bit wider and a bit deeper than the previous one. But not by much though. And then over here, we've obviously got this shed, and this is where all our tractors will live. And, yeah, the big John Deere sort of takes up its own bay there, which is absolutely fine. And then we'll run through here. This is a new area which was quite interesting to make. So, as you can see here, we put some concrete down to keep all of this sort of looking neat and tidy and a bit structural. And this is our brand new potato washer. And over here, I wasn't really sure how many of these potato sorters we were going to need, so I put down 3. I don't know if 3 is maybe too much. I don't know if the washer will be able to keep up with that. But yeah, this is our new potato processing area, I guess. And it'll probably develop as time goes on, and probably add some more stuff, or maybe remove stuff, or maybe get some corn stuff in here as well. Never really know. So, yeah, that was a bit of a process, cutting all of this out and making everything look nice and neat and tidy. The rocks obviously stayed. Can't go digging those up. And, yeah, I mean, we got some trees in here and sheltering that off a little bit. And then this is obviously the big change. We have got this beautiful area back here, and I really do love it. So we've got a big shelter over there, which is actually 2 joint shelters. And then we've got one of them over here. So starting from the end here, we've got all of our sort of basic equipment, stump grinders, small plow, trailers, and then sort of our grass and hay equipment, baling equipment, all of that. Our seeder, then our 2 trailers for lime and fertilizer, our weeders, which we are going to most likely use in the next episode because we do have a weed problem, and then our seeder, and then our seed cart, and then we've got all of our potato equipment, and over here we've got our trailers, and then over this side we have got a brand new servicing area, which looks kind of neat. I really do like the look of it, and I pulled the pickup truck up there just because it kind of looks cool, and it's sort of a good space for it. It'll obviously go in the shed, but yeah, we'll just come under here and have a look, see if everything's good, maybe give it an oil change. And then our diesel moved over to here, and we put another pressure washer in here, so we can basically do servicing and filling of diesel and cleaning of vehicles and everything in this little area over here. The sheep are sheltered off a little bit, so with trees and everything there, so there's not too much noise and things barreling over that side, bothering them. And then through here I made a little walkway. So if we need to run from the house to grab something at the back there, then it's quite easy to do. So that was a conscious decision. It wasn't a happy mistake. So I did move that shed over a little bit. The other one was a bit close to the house, to be honest. You couldn't walk through there. So now I've got a nice little walkway and we can get to all of the equipment back here. And I have to say I am extremely chuffed with how this all came out. I mean, it is looking really freaking cool. I thought about leveling everything out, but it's just got some charm to it where everything's not absolutely perfect. Obviously the sheds are perfectly level and all that, but down here you have to reverse uphill, and I mean it's got a bit of character. I love it. I think this really does add to the farm, and it doesn't take away anything from the sort of nostalgic feel that the farm used to have. And I think it's still got that. I think even with all of these modern sheds and all of that, I think the farm still feels like our farm. It just feels like a modernized version of the farm that we've been farming for all of this time, for all of these episodes. It definitely still feels like that farm, and like it's just grown up. And there's so much more to come, and I want to try and do the exact same thing where we don't lose the feeling of this farm, because it's got such a great vibe around it. Over here, nothing really changed, except you can see there's a lot of sort of trees that are different sizes and things now, and it just sort of breaks that road off of this piece a little bit. So it's not as connected, and it doesn't feel as close to the road as it used to. And again, it just shelters the sheep a little bit. So very nice, nothing else here. But eventually, all of this is going to get developed sort of in the same way. When we start dealing with cows and that sort of thing, and the equipment that obviously goes along with that. Obviously, the house is going to move eventually. And I think when it does, I don't think we're going to do anything with that space. We might just stick a couple of new trees in there and a bit of grass and sort of leave it as is and just get rid of the house. And obviously these silos over here are going to move as well. As for the entrance at the back here, sort of exactly the same as what it was really, just with the addition again of some different trees, different height trees, and maybe a couple more than what we had in there initially, just to fill it up a little bit, and again sort of break the farm away from the road a little bit. And yeah, this road has been widened, so you can see it's quite a bit wider than what it was. And it also, I moved it slightly, not much, but maybe 1 or 2 meters away from the sort of what I like to call the fence line over there, or which is actually the tree line. So yeah, that is basically all of the changes on the farm, and honestly, I really do like it. I would like your opinion. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think about the changes on the farm. And sometimes changes are scary, and this definitely was, because sometimes changes don't work out the way that you planned them. And this was one of those very rare occasions where the changes actually turned out better than what I expected them to. I had an image in my mind of what I wanted to do, and this turned out like 100 times better than the picture that I had in my mind. So I'm very happy about that, and we've got so much space now. I mean, we still have to double stack things in these bays, because let's face it, every single bay here is full, and we've still got things standing out here because we don't have enough space. So we do have a lot of equipment, but that's fine. Things will progress along and everything will find its home. A lot of equipment on the farm has found its home now. A lot of it was standing sort of in the grass and outside in the weather, and yeah, but that is that. And I'm very excited for the future of this farm. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing working with this environment now, and I'm just continuing to grow the farm, and I'm very excited to figure out what we're going to do sort of around that side with the sheep and all that. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty freaking great. But that is going to be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time.